Good morning. First of all, I woke up and my hair was a mess. Normally I tie up my hair before I go to sleep, and tonight, or last night, I didn't. So I've just tied it up in a very messy bun. And my plan is to go for a run as early as possible, and then I'll shower and wash my hair. And then I've got a long list of other things I want to do. It's a very long list, but I do think it won't take very long. I think each task is not a huge task. So I had a banana about 10 minutes ago, and I'm now going to get into my running gear and maybe just start warming up, and then just go. I'm hoping for a 5k, but we'll see how I feel. It's quite sunny out. I don't know how warm it is, but it's very sunny, so we'll do what we can. I'm so torn because I really don't want to go for a run, and I really don't need to go for a run. There's no reason why. But I also know that I should move. And I don't know, like, I know it's healthy, and I also know that if I do this now, the next time I want to go for a run, it'll be easier to run. So we're just gonna do our best. One thing I didn't mention, the last time I went for a run, which was about a week ago, I did a very slight cool down after, but not very thorough, and my shins were so sore for like 3 days after. I was also wearing not new running shoes, but after the run I wore new shoes, so I wonder if that affected things. And also I hadn't eaten before the run, so maybe, I don't know, it was pulling from muscles, I don't know, but I really want to try and avoid that happening this time. So I'll do a proper warm-up, a proper cool down, and I've had the banana, so hopefully it'll be okay. But I'm going to continue getting ready. And then I will probably speak to you when I'm back from the run. Yay! Actually, hi, I'm back. Just to say, so yesterday I made this list, and this is a list that I wanted to cover last night when I got home, today and tomorrow, because I've got half days today and tomorrow. And on that list are 19 things. Yesterday I ticked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm hoping that most of them I can tick off today. There's 2 things on there that are related to Wayne, so I need him to be home, which he will be tomorrow. But I'm hoping that everything aside from those 2 things I can get done today. And one of those things on the list is run. So let's get started. Hello, I've just come in, it's just after 10. I've done 5 kilometers, which I'm really, really happy about, and I also really didn't think would happen. But I'm tired and sweaty now. It was also quite sunny out. So I'm going to stretch. I've already had some water. I think I'm going to eat something before I shower, because I've been told you're meant to eat immediately after, although this wasn't such a long run, but still. I'll shower, I'll do the laundry, and then I'll chat to you. See you in a bit. This is how I look right now. I'm sort of like in the middle of, well, I was about to get in the shower, and then I just had loads of messages that I feel like require quick responses, because essentially I'm trying to see if I can fly to Holland in, like, not this weekend, but next. No, the weekend after that, 3 weekends away, 2.5 weeks. So that's soon, and prices go up, so I'm just like hovering and seeing what people say. I'll keep you posted. I need to shower. I want to shower so bad, but I also want to know responses. But actually, I can shower. I've sent all the main messages. I've made my plan, and I'm just waiting on one more response. And if that comes back saying yes, then I'm going to book flights, I think. But I will let you know. I'm going to shower. I need to get out of this. Hello. I have about 5 minutes until I need to go to work. I'm just going to put on my shoes and chat to you about today, and also quickly, hopefully, about the run. I've had a pretty, well, I want to say it's been productive because I've got most of the things off my list, but I also feel like I did waste quite a bit of time just like not panicking, but trying to work out everything for this thing. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I'm basically thinking of going to Holland for a weekend, or literally for a Shabbat actually, but I'm trying to make sure it's okay with my family. I'm trying to make sure it's okay with work and that I can make it work, that's the most stressful part, definitely. And also my mum is meant to be here the weekend that I want to go, and I want to make sure that she's not going to be upset. But everyone's written back to me. The only thing is I want to go into work and double check, because I couldn't get a cover for the Sunday. And I just want to double check that it's a definite no before I book my flight, because otherwise the flight I'll be getting to come home, because of Shabbat goes out really late now, it would have to be a Sunday morning flight, landing at like 7:20, and I'm meant to start work at 9, and that is a bit tight, quite tight. Even though I'll be travelling hand luggage only, I still feel like it's quite tight. But if it really is my only option, I am going to do it, just because families coming over from other places, and it would just be a really good opportunity to go. So we'll figure that out. And I'm also conscious I'm probably going to want to go again in June, because I think my father's thinking of coming over then. So I know that I'm going to have a similar like planning problem then, but it's okay. We'll figure that out when it happens, if it happens. I've literally got like 2 minutes now, but let me quickly tell you, first of all, so I've done everything on my list, except the 2 things that involved Wayne, and one other thing which actually involves giving my availability to one of my jobs, and I just feel like I cannot give that until I've sorted out if I'm going away that weekend. And then the only other thing, there was it's a big task essentially, and it feels like it's never going to be finished. It's basically researching for an audition I have, and there's so much to research. So I've done some researching, but there's definitely still more to do. So I haven't actually ticked it off, but I would say that was half done. So all in all, feeling really good. And then I think my plan for this evening is to do an hour of work, and then pretty much just chill. Like there's not much else I need to do. Maybe book the flight to Holland, because it is really just that one flight I can take. Let me open Strava if it wants to load. So I did a 5K, which I was really happy about. It definitely felt like a struggle. I could feel that, well, it felt like I started really fast. I don't think my pace was that fast, but I could just feel that I was exhausted very quickly. And I was struggling each kilometre to get to the end of the kilometre. I did find my pace eventually, but I feel like it took a while to find the pace. And then I made the decision at 4 kilometres to leave the park. I went into the park today. And by leaving the park, it meant I had to go up this hill. And I really, really, really wanted to get to 5K without stopping. So I did go up the hill. It was very slow, but at least I did it. And it was, it was nice weather. It wasn't too hot, but the sun was beaming down, which was not my favourite. But I did love running in the park. Everything was green. And also there were like 4 or 5 other runners, and all of them were going the opposite way to me. But it was very funny because they were all like closing in on each other, and I was there just like going at my very slow pace, where it didn't really matter. And actually one of the runners was wearing a finisher's t-shirt from the Big Half 2025, and I was like, hey. But anyway, I've decided I've run out of time, so I will actually show you and look at Strava when I get back this evening, and until then I need to go. Bye. Hello, it is so much later. I got home at about 7:30, call it. And then I worked for another hour from home. So by the time I'd finished that, it was like 8:45. And then I made an supper. So by the time I finished that, it was like, I don't know, 9:30 or something. And it's now, oh my gosh, it's almost 10:50. That's crazy. But I've been editing a little bit. I'm finally, by the time you're watching this is well behind me. But I've really been cracking down on making sure all my May videos are ready, because I'm doing this series thing, and a lot of which involve singing. So I did do some singing today, and I've been watching back those videos and editing them and trying to order things so that I'm not wearing the same clothes like 3 videos in a row. So I've uploaded, I think, 2 more today, and I've edited and organized. I've got the next 9, I think, organized, so until the 25th of May. So I do have a little bit of time, which is nice, but I just know May is going to be a very busy month. I've not yet booked the flight, and I don't really know why not. I know that that's the only flight I want. I think I'm just waiting for someone to tell me that they can cover my shift, but I know they can't. I should just do it. Maybe I'll do it tonight. And then on Friday, I'm going to try and book the train to Holland, because that's a bit more flexible. And I've also, actually, I need to tick that off my list. I have sent off my availability to my other job for May, because I've gone through and just presuming I'm going to Holland, presuming my mum's going to be here when she says she's going to be here, sort of worked around that. So essentially I've done everything on my to-do list today, which is great, except obviously that things have been added. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. But I was actually coming on here just to look at Strava, because after all this, we still haven't gone through it. So as mentioned, I did 5 kilometers. I can't remember what I told you earlier, but it was a struggle. And I don't know if I mentioned, I decided to leave the park at 4 kilometers, which meant that the last kilometer was uphill. I do think I said this, but I'm sure I was slower for that kilometer. Anyway, let's have a look. So I did 5.1 kilometers in the end, and my average tempo was 7:29, which like is slow, but also not as slow as it could have been. And in total, I was out for 38 minutes. It's definitely a slower 5K for me than usual. But I did it. I did it without stopping. I went uphill. Like, I have lots of things to be proud of on this run. And I think if I go out for a run next week, I'm going to aim for 6. So my first kilometer, even though it felt quite fast, was only 7:04. Second one was 7:35, then 7:19, 7:21, and 7:47. So that 5th one is slower, but as I say, I was going uphill and I didn't stop. There's the bar graphs and everything. Enjoy. And one thing I was thinking about on this run was how lucky I am. I see some running influencers who are, considered or call themselves slower runners, which obviously I fall into that category. And I see them talk about how hard it is for them sometimes to be a slower runner and be called that, and how they can sort of be made to feel left out or get nasty comments. And obviously, like, I'm not such a big person, as in like influencer. Not size, I didn't mean size. I literally just meant in terms of my following. And I'm sure that if I grew, I would probably get more nasty comments. But I'm just so grateful that that's not a mindset I ever had at any point of this. Like, even when I started running, I never thought about being fast or slow. I just want to move and I want to be comfortable. And I felt in the first kilometers today that I was not comfortable. And that was 7:04. Like, that definitely is still considered to be slow. But I'm so glad, like, that did not cross my mind. I was just like, I need to sustain this. And if I'm going to sustain this, I have to go slower. And I know I've spoken about running so much and I've made separate videos about my advice. But I think that is like such an important thing for anyone who's considering getting into running. It's hard. Running sucks. Don't believe what people tell you about it being like nice. So if you want to do it, if you just want to do it as a way to move your body, to get outside of the house, to get some fresh air, whatever, just go at whatever pace you need to be able to keep going, because you don't want to hate it. Anyway, I'm probably going to watch a little bit more YouTube and then go to bed. Wayne is on his way home, but I don't know how long he'll be. And I will maybe see you tomorrow. I thought tomorrow was going to be such a chill day. I finished work at 12:30, which is like amazing. And then I knew I was maybe going to do like 2 to 3 hours of work on top of that from home. And then I'd have the rest of the day free and Wayne was home and like it would be so chill, so fine. And like on the whole, that is still the case. But I've got a meeting tomorrow at work, which is happening outside of my working hours. So I'm probably not going to leave until about 2 o'clock. And then I do still need to do the 2 hours of work. So I don't think it's going to be quite as chill and relaxing. I mean, it's still pretty chill. Like, it'll still be 4 o'clock by the time I finish. It'll be light out. I'll be home. Wayne can cook tomorrow. Like, it is fine. But it's just not as much as I'd wanted. I also had such a good idea of using Wayne tomorrow for my video, but I'm actually leaving much too early for that to work. Because essentially in my head, I thought, if I want to film a video where he decides outfits for me. And I thought if before I leave, film with him what the different prompts are, and then he can decide while I'm working, and then I can have a look when I get back. But he's not going to be awake when I get up. And I think I'd be too stressed to film a video before I go. So I'll have to keep it for another day. But that's okay, because I also already want to talk to him about some other things. And otherwise I take away his whole day. Not quite, but a lot of it. Anyway, I'm rambling, as I often am. So yeah, I'm gonna chill. And I'll probably still at some point see you tomorrow. Bye! Hello. Today did not quite turn out as planned. I did go to work. I didn't have the meeting that I thought I would. And while I was at work, my colleague texted to say they weren't very well and wondered if I could cover the rest of their shift, or the entirety of their shift. Now, initially, I was really looking forward to this evening and having the evening with Wayne. But this morning, Wayne told me that actually he realised he had something on this evening for his work. So I thought, you know what? It's okay, but I did know that he'd be home during the day. So I said if I could have a couple of hours at home between like 2 and 5, just to spend some time with him, and then I could go back to work for the evening. And that's what I did. But then while I was at work, I got a message from Wayne to say he was not going in to his work because something happened with his journey, and it was going to be a nightmare to get there. So he came back, and I was quite happy about that because I knew that that would mean he could do the cooking, because I also knew I still had to do at least 1 hour of work for my job from home. Initially, I'd planned for it to be 2 hours, but by the time I got home at like 8. So at that point I thought, no thank you. So Wayne's very kindly done the cooking while I did my work, and he's literally about to plate up, and I'm very excited. We've got halloumi korma, which I haven't had since before I went to Australia. So that's nice. I've also just been feeling really good in general. I feel like, I don't know, I'm really happy in my work at the moment, and I'm really happy just with like the way, oh, is that for me?
Yeah, it's extremely hot.
Okay, how come I don't have the green bowl?
Did you want the green bowl?
I always want the green bowl. It's okay, I'll manage. I really don't like the Red Bull. I feel like you know that. You knew that.
I didn't know you didn't like it.
I really don't. I try to avoid using it at all costs.
No camera.
Okay, we'll keep you in shot. I was very purposely keeping quiet so I could cut it out and then start again.
No,
if you're happy to be in
you
it.
can cut that part.
No, I'll keep you in it. Okay, I've completely lost my train of thought because Wayne. But yes, overall, I feel like I'm in a really good place. I did mention obviously that I had a bit of rubbish news, and that has meant that this has probably been one of the saddest weeks of my life so far. But I'm still able to be really happy despite that, so that's good. Wayne also brought home a plant from for Earth Day yesterday, and it is so cool. I'm gonna show you. Like, it doesn't look real. Look at these lines. Like, that looks drawn. It's so cool. So yeah, that's exciting too. I'm loving watching the sun on the leaves. I think I mentioned that the other day. And now we're about to watch Taskmaster and eat some supper. And then we'll probably watch something else as well. Yay! Good morning. I got up around 9:15, so a little bit of a line, which is nice. And now I've had some breakfast. And I'm gonna just do a little bit of cleaning. I've just done the dishes, and I've got a vision for what I'm gonna do with some of my mashed potato, but I will let you know about that a bit later on, because I have so much mashed potato, although we did use up most of the rice yesterday, so that's good. The food was so good. But the things I want to clean are the table where we eat, the stovetop, and the microwave. Now, Wayne did want to do the microwave himself, but he's unexpectedly had to go into work today. So I'm gonna just do a baseline, just because there's, like, the plate itself has things on it, and I'm gonna wipe that, and then I'll leave the rest for him. And yeah, the stovetop, it shouldn't take long. Like, I've already sprayed things down with disinfectant, because I read somewhere that you're meant to, like, leave it for a minute or two before you wipe. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm just put a glass of water in the microwave to help loosen up anything that's there, and I'll give it a wipe, and then that'll be it. And I'm also finally catching up on some of the Riley Autumn videos, because those have piled up, and I don't really have much else I need to do today. I do have an appointment at 3 o'clock, and there are still tube strikes, so I need to figure out, usually that should be like a 25-minute journey, but I think it's going to take a bit longer today, so I need to make sure I leave on time for that. And then obviously Shabbat tonight. I think my grandma said she'd pick me up at 6:45. I'm gonna give that a little bit longer, because she let us borrow a duvet last week, and so she's gonna pick me up with the car so that I can drop that off. But yeah, I'm sure I'll pop in as the day goes on. I do have some work I need to do, but I can't do it until I hear back from my manager, so I'm waiting for that. And otherwise, we're all good. And I've booked my return flight, the one that I was nervous about, but I've booked it because it was the cheapest it's gonna be, I think. And I haven't yet booked my journey there because I was hoping to go by train, but it says all the trains are sold out. So I'm gonna keep an eye out, because I know sometimes they become available either later in the day or as the days go on. There are also flights, and I'm quite flexible with when I need to get there, so I can be flexible with the flight times, and get the cheapest one, more or less. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll catch up with you in a bit. Bye! Hello. I've had like a nice morning. There's a project I started on in August 2021, I believe. So like 4.5 years ago. And I recently picked it back up. This is, like my scarf, I've said this before, I have a thing where I will sometimes have like a 2-year gap on a project I'm doing, but I will finish it eventually. And this is very much one of those things. So I haven't finished it yet, but I'm definitely nearing the end, which is nice. And so I've been busy with that, which like feels productive, but also it doesn't actually mean anything. It's not for anyone, it's just for myself. But it's fun to do. And then I've also been watching some YouTube while doing that, and also been researching a little bit for this meeting I've got later, soon. And I was just about to fry myself an egg and have it on some bread, but the dishes are dry. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. Basically, this is one of the dishes I had. We had some cake from my grandma in here, and I've washed it up, it's clean, you know, everything's fine. And I think it's a really good size for a shepherd's pie. Maybe a little bit deeper would be good, but I think it'll do. So what my plan is, I'm going to layer the bottom thing with cling film. Then I'm gonna layer it with some of the mash. And then I'm gonna wrap that in the other side of cling film so that it's all flat, and then put it in the freezer. And then when I'm ready to make shepherd's pie, or just the mince in fact, I'll make the mince separately. I'll take out, because it'll be in cling film, I can take the whole thing out, put the mince in, and then put the potato on top. That's the vision. Are you with me? We do have one. Is that deeper? We've got one up there that is deeper, I think. Maybe we go with that one. It's definitely bigger. Is it deeper? I think it is. Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, change of plan. I'm just gonna wash this one again because it's been up there for a while. And then I'll do the same but with this one. How exciting. I'm gonna make my egg instead. Hi, I'm back and I'm gonna do the mashed potato thing, and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. Here's my tin. Here's all the mashed potato I have. I don't know if you can see that very well. And here's the cling film, which you also can't see very well. Hang on. Let me move this out of the way for a second. Move this along. So what I'm going to do is a whole layer along the bottom this way, which I'm then going to fill with mashed potato. I think size-wise this is great though. I'm happy about this. Okay, I think that looks like a good layer. I think I'm happy with that. Maybe a little bit more. I'll just use this up. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to wrap it up with the second half of cling film. And now the thought is that once it's frozen, it can maintain its shape and we can use it for a shepherd's pie and take it out. I will update you whenever I make shepherd's pie, which probably won't be for a while, but yay! Hello, I've just come in from work. I have put on some sun cream and changed my clothes. I'm now putting on my shoes and I'm gonna go for a run. It is quite warm out, so I'm telling myself 3k. It would be nice if I could get to 5k, but I'm not holding out hope because it's quite sunny and warm. That being said, I have no excuses because a bunch of world records have just been broken at the London Marathon, and they're running for much longer in the same heat. Although, to give myself some grace, they started earlier when it was not as warm. Like, they finished already, which is crazy. To complete a marathon in 2 hours is insane. Anyway, congratulations to them. I'm still going to suffer through my 3k and complain about it. But yeah, I'm going to go. I've just realised I need to do something before I leave, but I will be very quick to do that. Then I'm going to go, I'm going to run, and then I'm going to come home and I'll tell you about it. Yay! Hello, I'm back. I've had a Twix, I've had some water. Let's chat. I did wear my running top while running, but I've taken it off when I got home. But I'm very matching. I don't know if you saw which shoes I'm wearing, but I was wearing the Cancer Research top and then the leggings that kind of really match it very well. Can you see that? Like, that's amazing. Obviously completely unintentional, but I'll take it. I think this was one of my best planned runs, minus one thing, which is that I should have just brought and worn the right stuff to work in the first place instead of coming back home and then going back past work. But essentially I came home, got changed, left, and I'd already envisioned the route I wanted to take, which is a route I've taken before, but not in a long while. But it's quite flat mostly, or in fact there's a little bit of uphill at one point, but then a lot of it is kind of flat / downhill. And there's like, it's not a busy area in terms of people, and there's not many side roads, so it's quite nice to run along. And I was really happy overall, and then I ended up coming back to the park where I normally run, and I started running, and then I noticed a tree was blocking the path, so I decided to leave. Luckily there was another exit, so I left through the other exit without having to turn around. I really don't like turning around on my runs, so I took another exit, and then ended up doing another bit of a circle, which meant that my overall run was actually longer, even longer than I intended. I could tell quite early on that 5 kilometers wasn't going to be a problem. I could feel from about, I don't know from when, but around I think the 2 kilometer mark, I was feeling really good. I was like, I feel amazing, which never happens. And it also made me realize that the more frequently you run, the easier it gets, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately, but also fortunately, you know, at least it does get easier. So yeah, even with the heat, luckily there was a bit of a breeze, and yeah, despite that, I was feeling good, mostly. And then when I got to about, I think just after 3 kilometers, I was thinking, oh, I wish I'd stopped. But I kept going, I pushed myself, and then actually because of the tree being blocking the road, it made me feel like I got to 5k quicker, because even just trying to get around the tree and back to where I wanted to be almost brought me to 4k. So when I heard the voice of like, oh, 4k, I was like, oh, this is gonna be okay. And then from where I was when it said 5k, I realised that if I started making my way back to work, because I'd left some stuff at work to bring home, it's the whole thing, but if I started making my way back to work, I could probably get to 5.5k without stopping. So I did that, and it worked. And then I did keep the Strava going, but I walked after 5.5k, and then I paused it while I was at work, sorting some things and grabbing my stuff. But then when I left work, I started it again, and I had 2 things in my hand. I had my water bottle and like some documents. But I had this long road in front of me and it was empty, and I just thought, because I'd had a moment to catch my breath, I'd had like 5 minutes of work or something, I was like, I can try and sprint for a bit. So I did. I didn't even get to 6 kilometers, like I got tired very quickly, but I probably did about 200 meters of sprinting, so I'll take it. And then I did walk the rest of the way home, but still calculating it on Strava. So, just before I have a look, I want to say, first of all, that it was 19 degrees and sunny, no clouds, so I'm pretty pleased that I've accomplished what I have. And also, my music was a little different today. I noticed as I started, the first couple of songs, each one was one that I hadn't added to the playlist myself. I don't know if you remember, way back when I started running, I just found a Broadway running playlist, and then I've copied it and added my own songs to it. So by now, most of the songs in that playlist are mine. Let me see, how long is it? The playlist now is 25 hours. I don't know how long the original one was, but I've definitely added a lot of songs to it over the year and a half that I've been running. That's crazy that I've been running for a year and a half. Anyway, but it was so strange to me that all these songs were ones I hadn't added, and I suddenly realised, I think around, again, 3.5 kilometres, that I thought I might not have pressed shuffle, and it was just going in order from the playlist. And when I opened my phone, that was right, and then I pressed it on shuffle. But actually, even though it was songs that I didn't necessarily know as well or would have picked, it definitely had a good drive to it. Like, they clearly curated the playlist initially very well, because, as I say, it did not feel very difficult today to begin with. We'll check the timings in just a second. I do feel like the first kilometre was quicker than I would have liked, because I could feel I was again, like, I can tell that I go quicker and then I struggle to get comfortable with it, but then just after 1 kilometre, or maybe just before, I definitely got into a comfortable pace for most of the run, which was good. And let's see what that actually translates to. Here we go. So I ended up doing 6.23 kilometres, including the walking, and including the walking, the average tempo was 7:32. So I will take that, actually. That is much better than I was expecting. I thought it was because it was comfortable, I thought it was quite slow, and the heat. So that's great. And I did 47 minutes of exercise, like, I'll take it. My first kilometre actually wasn't that quick. It was 6:57, then I did 7:24, 7:47, 7:32, and 7:24. That's amazing. My 5th kilometre was quicker than most of the others. I did feel, though, that I was pushing myself. I was like, I just want this to end. And actually, my 6th was also 7:32. So that's really cool. I've just noticed my brightness is down, hang on. So there's the everything, and up here is where I sprinted. Can you see what that says? 40 something, is that right? No, that says 7, but that says 4. So I did a couple of 100 meters. Is that 3 or was that 5? That's 3:51, that's crazy. Obviously that's when I started sprinting, I think. But that's amazing, that's so cool. And actually, it didn't feel like it was uphill, but if you look here, it does look like it was a little bit uphill. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that, actually. This was a much better run than I was anticipating. Maybe I should run more than once a week. It'll get easier, maybe. We'll see. The truth is, like, theoretically, I have more time off now from work, so I should have more time to run. But I do feel like my calendar is looking very full for me. But we'll see. It's now 2:30. I'm gonna do the dishes first of all, because we cooked yesterday and there's a lot. And I know I'm gonna shower after, and I'd rather not be, like, fresh and clean and then have to do the dishes. So that'll be job 1. Job 2 at some point will be shower. Job 3 is to continue this scrapbooking thing I think I told you about yesterday or the day before. No, yesterday was Shabbat. I don't know when I told you. I don't know when I've spoken to you. I also need to upload my Dear Hopefuls video, which I did film on Friday, so it should be quick to upload. I need to do some more work, although I've sort of said I might do it this evening. Wayne isn't home until like midnight tonight, so I'm not worried about like wasting time with him. And I think that's it. There's not much else I need to do, so that's good. The last hour and a half at work was quite quiet, so I started reading another ebook called The Argonauts, which has been on my to-read list for quite a while. But honestly, so far I'm struggling a little bit with it. But I've still got a few more days, and I've got 2 more working days where I can probably read at work. So hopefully I'll get it done. It's only, I think I've got 100 pages left, and it's a very short book to begin with. But I do also have an ebook, of which I've got about, I think, 3 hours left to listen to before the end of April, so maybe I'll do a bit of that as well. And I would like to sing, although I'm conscious that it's a Sunday, so people might be home. But yeah, we'll see what I get up to. Maybe I'll listen to the audiobook while I'm doing the dishes. Anyway, I'll leave you, and I'm sure I'll pick you back up at some point later today. Bye! Oh, change of plan. I've just been called by one of my other jobs. I didn't realise I was working there in April, so I didn't check the rota, because I just kind of presumed I would be back in May. But apparently I was scheduled on for today, so I need to quickly shower and go. Oh dear, it's fine. I'm not gonna panic. I'm just gonna get myself ready and I'm gonna go and I'll see what else I can get done when I get back. I'm on till 8, so I should be home about 8:30 and then we'll figure it out. Ah! Hello, I'm back. I'm just gonna wipe the table. It's 8:10. I had a very good journey home. And I really don't feel guilty at all, actually. And normally I really would. I'm very meticulous about not being late to work and not missing shifts. But while I was there, I had a look. And I was only emailed about this shift while I was on holiday, and we'd actually been talking about the shift on WhatsApp with my manager, and they never confirmed that they wanted me to work it, so I had never put it in my diary. So I actually really don't feel guilty at all. And the best part is, no one had to like stay in cover for me the couple of hours that I was late. I would feel guilty if that wasn't the case, but it's not. So now I'm home. I'm not very hungry. I had a lot of sweet treats, which was nice, but like it always ends up being more than I need or want. And at the moment I feel like I'm hungry for something substantial, but my tummy feels very full, so I don't really want to eat. So I'm not going to eat right now. I might have a cup of tea at some point, but first of all, I'm going to try and do at least an hour, hopefully an hour and a half of other work. This day where I thought I'd have loads of time, more time than I needed, has turned into a day where I really don't have much time anymore. And there were other things I wanted to do that I'm not going to get round to, but I only put them on my list because I had the time. Well, that's not necessarily true. I do still need to upload the YouTube, the Hopefuls video. But it's fine. I'm not stressed. I'm actually genuinely not stressed. I am chill. It's only 8 o'clock. Even if I do an hour and a half of work, well, it'll be closer to 10, but it's fine. Even then, I still have like at least an hour where I'm functioning brain. Apparently not right now though. So I'm gonna go and I may chat to you later on. I may not. We'll see. Bye. Hello. It has just gone 9:30 and I finished work. I decided to finish a little bit earlier because I finished on the half hour instead of on the hour because I didn't really have much else to do and I'm feeling quite tired. I'm feeling a bit headachy and I feel like I just want to stop. And I can stop. I remember this from my like half marathon training and my 10K training. I really don't like going for a run when I then have to work after because I do just feel so much more tired. Admittedly, my fueling hasn't been great today either, and generally I don't like to comment on what I'm eating just because I feel like sometimes you have days where or weeks where you just need to eat a bit of rubbish food and that's okay and there's no harm in that and it's fine. But I'm really not happy today. And I wasn't happy from the get-go. I wasn't happy from breakfast. I generally eat brown bread at home. I buy brown bread, but we have white bread at work that's for everyone and that's bought by the company, and we all use it for our lunches and stuff, and that's fine. I don't mind that. But I've now, in the last 2 weeks, this has happened both weeks. I work Thursday until, call it 2-ish, so after most people have had their lunch break, and everyone leaves the office by like 1 o'clock on Friday, so they don't have lunch then, and very few people are in on the weekend, and even if they are, again, they usually leave by 1. So last week and this week I was told to take the bread home if you want it because it's going to be thrown otherwise. And so both weeks I have, because I do like free stuff, and I've now had 2 weeks where I haven't had to buy bread. I haven't had to buy bread since I got back from Australia. That's great. But it means that I've been eating a lot of white bread and not a lot of brown bread. And also because I do want to try and eat it before it goes off, I've been having it for breakfast instead of my cereal. Not that my cereal's very healthy, but this morning I had it with Biscoff and like Flocker, which is the Dutch like chocolate sprinkles. And I had 2 pieces and I could already feel I didn't want that second piece, but I'd already toasted it, so I had to. And like, it just doesn't feel substantial in any way. It's white bread and sugar. Like, it just doesn't, there's no depth to it. And again, normally I'm quite kind to myself and I forgive myself and it's okay. And it would have been okay, I think, overall, if I'd had a substantial lunch and supper, but I haven't. I haven't really had lunch. When I got back from my run, I had a singular Twix bar and a singular tangerine, and that was it. And then I went to work, and there I had like a couple of pastries, cupcakes, some Skittles, a Twizzler, or whatever it's called, like a vegan version, and that was it. That was all I had. I mean, I've had lots of water, but like, that's all I've eaten all day until now. Like, no wonder I'm not feeling full of energy. So I'm going to fry up a vegetarian burger, which is now no longer on offer, but these were still, luckily I bought another packet, and I'm gonna have some more of the mash. I did obviously freeze some of it, but there was still quite a lot left. So I'm gonna have that as my supper. No vegetables because we don't have any, but I'm gonna go shopping tomorrow because I unexpectedly had to go to work. Well, actually I was never planning on going shopping today, but because I unexpectedly had to go to work, the shops were closed by the time I got back. So there really wouldn't have been any chance. So this is gonna have to make do for today and tomorrow. I'm hoping to make the shepherd's pie tomorrow if I'm back home on time, and if I have the energy, then I'm going to do that. Although I'm also considering going to a dance class, so we'll see. I will let you know tomorrow what happens. Now in the time between me coming back from my run and then being told I need to go to work, I had sprayed all the countertops, but I didn't actually wipe them because I've been told you need to let it sit. You can probably hear why I'm telling you this. So I just left it when I left, and obviously it dried and that's fine, but I still didn't feel like I could put a pan on our electric hob without having cleaned it because it does still have the chemicals on it. So I've cleaned it again and it's so clean, but this spatters so much, and so I know it's going to be gone by the time I finish cooking. So that's disappointing. But I'm gonna cook this. I'm gonna watch some YouTube. I'm in the process of uploading my Dear Hopefuls video. So I actually feel like I'm doing okay, and at least like the main thing for me is I'm gonna have some real food because I haven't had anything today. And I did do a 6-kilometer run. So it was so nice. I was working with someone who also runs and did their first 10K like a couple of weeks ago while I was in Australia. So it was really lovely to catch up, really lovely to talk things running and marathon and everything. So that was fun. But anyway, it's been a good day. I'm just tired and I haven't eaten properly and I can feel in my body. That's the thing. I think normally I don't mind eating rubbish if I feel fine with it. But today I'm really feeling in my body, in my tummy, in my energy that I haven't eaten well. So time to try and rectify that a little bit. All right, I will see you tomorrow, but that may be a new vlog. So we'll see. Bye.